Hey guys, it's Brendan Ayer. Before we get started, if you like the show, make sure you subscribe, rate it, review it. All that stuff helps. Follow us on social media, Shitbrains Show on every platform. We even got YouTube. We got a Facebook group. And if you want bonus content, go to patreon.com/shitbrainshow. And if you have questions you want answered on the podcast, hit up shitbrainshow@gmail.com. Enjoy the program.
My brain is shit, man. It's shitty. Like it doesn't function properly. It just does whatever it wants. Life's still pretty good. This is Shit Brains.
Do it.
Welcome to Shit Brains. So my name's Brendan Ayer. I got a shitty brain. I'm glad to have you Shit Brains listening. I'm joined as always by my main man, Jimmy Graham. Jimmy, what's going on?
Doing good, baby boy.
Jimmy has a fucking giant sized travel mug of vodka that he's drinking.
I was hoping that was alcohol. Like, please don't.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me after 10 till I have my coffee.
And we are joined. I'm really pleased. I'm happy to have you, man.
Thanks for having
comedian, super funny comedian, great guy. John Armstrong is here with us. John, how's it going, man?
73-year-old John Armstrong.
74 in August.
You look great.
You're so old.
Are you old?
You're so
I'm
fucking
only
old.
42, but they like give me shit. Aren't you still in your 20s, Jimmy?
No.
Still in his he looks bad enough for the age that he is. If he was still in his 20s, I would call the ambulance right now.
It would suck.
I know a lot of white people aging like guacamole, so I don't know.
We're like dandelions.
Yeah. But you will definitely outlive me, so I'll have the good-looking corpse.
There's no way that that's a true statement.
Let me ask you, before we get into what I wanted to talk about, I need to ask you, and this is shitty, I know, to like be the guy that asks your black friends to decide on things.
I speak for black people for this whole podcast.
Yo, can we say it, dude?
No. So my lady was trying to tell me I was being racist because I told her as a fact. I was like, because I was watching soccer and I was like.
Did you throw a banana on the field?
No, I wasn't. Yeah. Let me ask you this, John. Is it racist to throw bananas at you people? No, I told her that, in my opinion, in general, not all the time, black people are better athletes. And she was like, "That's a racist statement." And I was like, "I don't." And I was like,
"In a way, it's what was that? The Jimmy the Greek comment or whatever back in the day?
He
the
was like talking about muscles and shit.
The quick muscle.
Yeah, but like I just think for whatever reason, whatever, genetically or whatever, you guys seem to be better at sports.
I used to lean into that, but honestly, I think it's the fact that we're humans,
right?
We are. And since we can't compete economically and then like so-called the white collar world as much as other people, it just comes out in different ways. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'd love to be like, yeah, fucking being naked in Africa gave us these muscles and like, or that whole like slaves and being, just basically weeding out the worst and you keep
the
literally breeding
concept.
people. I mean, that's part of it, but I really think, you ever see the movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
And it was like, how come the Yankees keep winning? And he kept saying they have Mickey Mantle, but he was like, they can't see past their stripes. Right. That's how it is. But white people can't see past their stripes. Like, and I heard a comic say that too, especially when it comes to boxing. Like, if you legally can beat the shit out of a white person for money, it's kind of like fight your boss day. Yeah. So I think it's a lot of that. Now, are you racist for saying it? No, because
just say yes, dude.
It's the same as when you notice gay people being in the arts. You know what I mean?
Well, I think what I was like kind of think of it as was like, and what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I kind of was thinking of it of like. Yeah, like I don't know why, but people from Scandinavia are tall.
Yeah,
people from Africa are good at sport. You know, like
very good at roller skating. What the fuck is that about, by the way? I learned that recently. What is going
What do you mean
on?
recently? That's one movie from like 1992.
That's what I thought. I fucking went on a
he
date.
He went to United States.
United States of fucking Africa.
And
It was
they
crazy.
was playing trap music with 10 security guards.
You can't call it United States of Africa. Look, I might not know if what I said was wrong,
by the way.
but what you said was wrong.
And this gonna be like a Howard Stern thing where I get to be Robin and just listen to racist shit and co-sign on it the whole time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was crazy. But I did learn that recently, and I had no fucking idea. We went to the United States of America on a date. Only white people there, and I sucked so bad. They were killing it, dude.
And the most hard dudes like coming around like
fucking like
dropping it low and like
I've been there. Yeah,
skating backwards,
light up skates, like doing dances and shit. Like just
we used to skate when I was a kid. I think that comes from kind of the basketball thing to where the cheapest sport you can do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's
That's
why
true.
they say like we tend to not be as well in hockey and shit because you got to buy equipment.
Right.
But with skates, I mean, I used to use my sister's skates. As a matter of fact, we was so broke. We was so broke that I would use one skate and she would use the other, and we would just kick push that shit. I am not making this up. So you learn, and when you in the hood too, like those are your field trips. Like you going to like, well, where are we going? Well, get out there and go in a circle until you get tired. And
I think with my lady, I tend to I say stuff like that because like I grew up in Cleveland Heights, you know, and it's like and I didn't realize it at the time that it's abnormal for a school system to be that diverse. You know what I mean? Like I didn't realize that like going to a high school that was like 60-70% black is unusual. I didn't realize most high schools in the country are 95% one race. Like so I kind of, you know, I just had black friends, white friends, Jewish friend, whatever.
Yeah.
And then my lady who grew up in Maine where there's never a black person's never been there is like super woke, you know? So I think I say stuff sometimes where I'm like, fuck that. Like they're better at sports. Stop fucking saying they're not.
You do.
know?
It is more of a matter of fact thing.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with somebody, and one of the things I found with some white people is like they'll tiptoe around something that they perceive to be racist, but it won't be. Especially the description of something like going out of their way to say everything except you mean the black dude. Like, I don't want to say that's racist, but at the same time it'll be a totally different breath, and you walk in the barrio like, oh my god, it's so ghetto in here because it's one black table. You know what I mean? So people seem to be like hypersensitive on some shit that's just observational shit.
Right.
But then other stuff that's ingrained that they don't even realize that you are making and not necessarily maliciously racist, but just from an ignorant standpoint. Like hearing men talk about gay people, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, I was one farted and was that aromatherapy? Like, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. So,
solid joke.
I forgot who did that.
Ooh, how you fit 4 gay guys on a bar stool?
Yeah, we know that
those
one.
fucking guys.
I looked it up back here, and as it turns out, they're pretty good at sports.
Gay guys?
Gay people? Wow, our engineer is we're already on gay guys, all right?
Now, so before we get into a topic,
Jeremy, you're so bad at cutting in. I'm sorry.
it's the best. That's why we love Jeremy.
I love it.
That's why we love Jeremy.
I looked it up.
Well, my point that I was telling her before we go on to this next thing is because I was like, well, yeah, that's why the United States, even though we have more kids anywhere in the world playing soccer, that's why we're not very good, is because our best athletes don't play soccer. They play basketball or football, and part of that is what you were saying, actually, I think, is like it is cost prohibitive. It's like, so,
and you get steered into shit because even people who play football, if you're a quarterback, they want you to be a wide receiver, or if you like baseball. Like I've heard so many athletes talk about that, how they kind of steer you away. So you deal with that. I think some of it, with me, to be honest, is a defensive thing too, because in a way, if you subscribe to the "we are better physically, then you start getting into the eugenics of like they're physically apt, but they're kind of stupid. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a defensive mechanism when I argue that.
And that makes sense, and that's why I asked. Because
I used to get the like. I was small for a long amount of time, and then I shot up at the very end. And I'm not like big now, but I could play sports if I knew how to play sports, but I can't play sports.
Yeah.
But I always get that presumption, you know what I mean? But but so that's
What presumption?
That he can play sports.
I remember I went to field day for my son.
You said eugenics. I thought you were going to be like caliper on the head.
They measured my skull, and goddamn it, I'm a centimeter away from Jew. Yeah. No, I was at my son's field day one year, and I was a younger dad, and then like. I mean, I look a little younger now, but in my 20s, I look like a teenager. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So all the kids are picking teams because they're all trying to do, the dads are playing baseball with the kids. And so everybody's coming up to me, young black dad, like, hey, you should be on our team. And I had to kind of explain to these kids, like, I just look the part. I can't throw. I don't want to relive my childhood by showing you how bad I can't throw. Yeah. Like, I don't have any of that shit.
It's funny that you talked about being steered away from soccer and like cultural stuff. I played with this kid and black guy. He went to Shaker, I think, and he was on the fucking under 18 United States national team. He was on the national team, and he went on to play professionally, and his friends made fun of him for playing soccer. And he was literally on the national team. His friends his black friends made fun of him, and he was on the national team and made a career out of playing.
Millions of dollars, or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, fucking going all around the world. You
Soccer,
bitch.
That was like Bruton used to get ripped apart at when Nelson used to host that Make 'em Laugh Monday, and like every single show they'd be like, shut up, John, you got a dad. And they just make fun of him for having a dad.
Yeah.
I remember when Mary said something about that, like, you're the only one who comes from a complete nuclear family, and you're the angriest person in this room.
So
what the fuck?
So here's what I wanted to talk to you about, because and we'll get in. I want to talk to John about some things, but I want all of us to talk about, because when I was in the mental hospital, they you take a lot of tests, man. They fucking give you all these tests because they're like, the psych ward, they don't test shit really. Like, they'll do a blood test to see, like, I don't know if you have tuberculosis or something, but like the psych ward, the goal in the psych ward is like get you safe enough to get the fuck out of the psych ward, you know. But like a legit mental hospital, like, oh man, they fucking gave me so many tests, and the one that drove me nuts, and for some reason they gave it to me twice, is and it was all new to me. I had no idea, so I had to take the Rorschach test, the ink blot test. Yeah. And what I didn't realize, my whole life I thought it was just like throw together some fucking random ink blots, right? And like, no, it's a specific set of 9 pictures you have to use wherever any doctor has used.
So it's not a random.
No, it's the same exact pictures. And
so you could just cheat off the fucking Rorschach test.
Well, there's no cheating because it's what you think you see.
But but you Google what does a sane person see in the Rorschach test.
Well, I'll tell you something, Jimmy. I didn't exactly have full access to Google at the time. They didn't give me a lot of web browsing.
You have Bing. They gave you Bing.
Yeah, they gave me
9
Bing.
black and white pictures of my uncle molesting me.
Also,
where did you find me?
Shout out to Bing, best porno browser.
But here's what's infuriating about it is, I thought it was like you go through the 9 pictures, right? That's it. The guy takes what you says and like tries to interpret. It's not that. You go through the 9 pictures, you say what you think you saw, and then you go through them again, and you got to explain to the guy why you saw what you saw, and he'll fucking argue with you. It's it's so crazy.
That's some Shutter Island. Like, once you're in there, I'm not getting out because there's no right answer.
It's so crazy. And then And then they don't tell you anything after it. It's crazy. No, there's no like results. It's just like, so let's, and some of them to me are such obvious things that I would get so mad at the guy. Like I'd be like, that's a monster. And he'd be like, why do you think you see a monster? I'm like, because that's a fucking picture of a monster.
Bitch.
So I've got.
Are we doing it?
We're doing it, and we're not going to do the multiple choice because that's not how it works in real life. We're just going to look at the pictures. Now, don't say what. Think about it first, and we'll all come to a conclusion. And then we'll say what we think we saw. Okay,
like
if you're not, so if you're,
that's the American flag.
I see freedom.
if you're not watching the video of this, you can check it out. You can just Google it anywhere, but we're doing openpsychometrics.org if you want to know what the fuck we're talking about if you're not watching the
Or
video.
you could subscribe to the Patreon.
No, the video is free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you still subscribe to the Patreon.
Give us
Give us some money. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Money.
Show us the first one. All right. Does everyone have what they think it is in mind?
Yes.
John?
Ish.
Okay, Jimmy, what do you see?
I see a moth with 2 middle fingers up.
Ooh, nice.
John?
Either a mask or 2 dogs back to back.
I saw a monster. Maybe there was something in the sky.
Somebody goes knock at the door.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, now,
Yeah,
so
I see like a mushroom head logo.
so
Dude.
so you saw
Come with us.
so you saw a moth with
Throwing
what?
up the bird, dude.
You see him? Yeah, you can.
Throwing up 2
Yeah,
birds.
yeah.
Oh,
It really is,
interesting. Yeah, see, a mask is what I see as like a like it looks like a jack-o'-lantern
Yeah.
with ears.
Yeah.
Like, okay, go show the next one. Not. Don't worry about this. Okay, this one was the one I really got into with the guy about, and so I have mine. I know what this is, and it infuriates me that anyone would think it's anything else. Do you tell me when you guys have it?
I have maybe a fucking spaceship from Galaga. Fucking
Okay, spaceship from Galaga, Jimmy.
I got. It looks like two of those like those like shitty like old women dogs whose like faces are always wet. What are they called? Kissing with a bloody paw and blood tornadoes.
Jesus.
Honestly, it looks like the thing you
They look
put
like
down when
bloody.
you fuck your girl when she's on her period.
Yeah,
it looks like the
it
sheet
does
that you
look like
put
the
down.
sheet. Yeah, but okay. So tell me. See, this is weird because I thought everyone would agree on everything. This is why I was so mad at the guy for arguing with me. I told the guy without a fucking hesitation, this was 2 garden gnomes touching hands in the middle. See, there's their hat, and there's their
shit.
legs, and there's their hands.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
That's exactly 2 garden gnomes. And the guy was like, "Do you think you have a problem with garden gnomes?" And it's just
Oh,
like, "Motherfucker,
God.
that's garden gnomes."
I
are
see dogs.
Where are you seeing a dog,
I see
man?
2 little shitty dogs kissing.
What's the red part then?
This is their bloody paws, and then those are blood tornadoes above their head.
Blood, Jimmy, man, you would have. I failed, but you would have really. They would have been like fucking 3 extra months, triple medicine.
It's like when you hear cops whispering that their supervisors come. We're gonna need somebody.
Yeah, we're needing to escort them out after
Just
I get
higher
fired.
ups keep coming in the room.
Yeah.
Just like people no one ever talks to.
Go ahead and turn off your body cams.
He said blood tornadoes.
Yeah.
We're gonna need backup.
Click.
Yeah. All right, show us the
That's the
next
name
one.
of the episode.
Yeah,
by the way.
blood
tornadoes.
I saw 2 wizards playing patty cake.
Yeah, so you were like me.
There you
That's
go,
what 2
yeah.
garden gnomes. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what that is. Oh, hold on. Go back, because this is interesting. Some of the options. Oh, they fucked us. Some of the options were what Jimmy said. Actually, this is in the actual test you don't get multiple choice, but this website gives that 2 Scotty dogs. That's isn't that what Jimmy said? Fucking
Hey,
Jimmy
yeah.
nailed it.
I fucking
And then John, what did you say?
Either the spaceship from Galaga or just when you lay down the.
So
it's like shut up, nerd.
period sheets or spaceship from Galaga are not on the multiple choice. 2 clowns, probably close enough.
Black
I
and
guess.
red, you're allowed to say just matter of fact what it is?
That makes no sense.
Clowns are just wizards of the comedy world.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous. Also, when you actually take it, there's no multiple choice. So this, I don't know what they're up to on this website, but okay, this one was fucking obvious to me. But you guys go ahead and tell me when you've got your answer.
I got mine.
2 strippers fighting over money.
He threw that $5 bill to me, bitch.
She's like, shut up, bitch. Yeah, this is a World Star hip hop video.
Yeah. This is Tuesday night at the Lido Lounge.
What do you got, John?
2 ladies over a pot. Kind of African art-ish because it's skinny.
Interesting. I had 2 servers at a table in a restaurant. They look, I don't know why they look like they're wearing like a little apron, but this one's not so obvious. I don't think. I think after you said that, I think probably what they're getting at with this one is to see if someone says dick or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they're probably.
dick knees.
So what are the options on this one?
Well, the humps, I got tits before I got dicks.
Yeah, exactly. Same. Yeah. 2 birds meet in a butcher shop. 2 men.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
This is bullshit. Okay,
Yeah,
next.
I saw 2 guys playing chess.
I like nothing at all. Like whatever psychopath is just like, I see nothing.
I see
at all.
nothing. That's what I should have told
That
the
guy
fucking
fucking
guy.
rules.
Okay, next one. We'll do a couple more of these. This one was, yeah. All right, this is the one that fucking really drove me nuts. In there.
Spooks me out,
but I
dude.
don't really see.
All right, so what I saw in this one was a monster looking down at me. See, 2 feet. That's the head. He's got weird little insect arms, and the perspective is that he's looking down.
Oh wow!
See, what I see is like a snake.
Where?
Like the fangs. These are the fangs.
Oh yeah.
Like
All right.
fang. It's like a snake fucking looking into your soul.
John, what do you got?
like a mask, kind of dog ears coming down, but like a mask. Yeah.
That's the thing. I think you could
You
say
say
mask,
mask for
but
all
you
of them.
could. They're all. It's a worthless fucking.
Well, these are shitty
What if
Rorschach things too, because I'm like, these aren't even. Ain't no butterflies in this shit.
But these are the ones. These are the real ones. These are the only ones. I thought it was all like you could do whatever you wanted. It's these. These are the exact ones I had. There's an official, like you have to buy them from Rorschach or whatever, the Rorschach
Yeah.
company. We'll do one more. There is a butterfly.
What if like the last one was just the mask, like the dog, and the mask, and they're like, what is this?
Yeah.
like a usual
A
suspect.
head of an animal.
Everything just
All right,
comes
okay.
together.
Why does everything look like a fucking butterfly?
That's
Fuck
definitely a
this.
moth.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
moth.
not even
Let's
interesting.
Let's click through this.
Click
This
through
shit
the
sucks.
get us to
This shit's
something
bullshit,
interesting.
dude.
I see a rabbit with wings.
Jeremy, shut
Come
the
on.
fuck up.
Jeremy
All right,
hasn't had sex in 6 months.
Yeah, we're done with this. It turns out
Yeah, this
analyzing
is
the
over.
Rorschach test
Doesn't work.
On an audio medium is a fucking worthless exercise.
I'm happy we spent 10 minutes on it.
We're gonna watch porn in Braille.
Yeah, so we gotta fucking take up time somehow in this shitty podcast. So John, I am diagnosed with 6 mental illnesses, which seems ludicrous. Jimmy's diagnosed with nothing, but he's
0,
fucked
baby.
up. Definitely has something going on. What's going
You're
on?
like the person who never got tested for COVID, but we all know you had COVID.
Yeah. Just like I've never had an STD. My dick just always looked like that.
dying
Yeah.
of AIDS.
Yeah, it's just drippy. I just got a drippy dick. That's all.
Dude, I can eat whatever I want. I don't gain a pound.
Maybe I was born this way.
What are you working with brain wise? How do you feel?
I know. I'm at least ADHD, if not very light Asperger's.
And how does that manifest?
Not in the DSM anymore, which I found out recently.
Jimmy, are you doing research
They
for our
took it out.
podcast? Wow.
They fucking took
wait,
it
what?
out. Asperger's isn't in the DSM anymore.
Really?
It's not recognized. They renamed it, I'm sure, to like something
Yeah.
neurodiverse
Yeah.
or some bullshit.
So how does that manifest itself?
Okay,
like
so,
in your life, in your comedy, however, like what do you feel like?
growing up, like youngest, 2 older sisters, grew up poor, like ghetto shit. But I
John had the black version of my upbringing.
yeah, but So here's the thing, like I was always like naturally kind of smart in school, and I didn't realize it until time kept going by when everybody would be struggling on shit. And I'm like, this is fucking easy.
Yeah.
That, and when you go to inner city schools, it's just easy too,
Right.
because they're just like, take this test, niggas, and get out of here.
Yeah.
But like, but like,
Say the Pledge of Allegiance.
you know, say it. But no, it started manifesting, and I could tell I would do stuff quicker and get done with stuff quicker. But then people could do who weren't as academically, I guess, smart as me. They could still complete tasks and do shit more. Like, I didn't finish school. The last grade I finished was the 9th, and really it was the 7th if you wanted, because I failed the 8th.
Right.
So like, I'm horrible at finishing tasks. Like, horrible at interpersonal skills with relating to people and talking to people, maintaining friendships.
Hold on. I want to go back a second here, because this is wild to me, because I haven't known you that long. When I was for those of you that don't know, I was away in New York when John started comedy here in Cleveland. I kind of met him a few times when I came back, and now I know him a little better. But if hearing you speak on stage and some of your opinions, if I had to watch 100 comics and say, which one of these guys do you think dropped out in the 8th grade? You'd be
I did
one
not
of...
drop out. I went from one school to another. No.
You...
No, I technically did. That was the argument I used to have with my baby mama, because you're a fucking dropout. I'm like, I just stopped going to South and I went to Cleveland Job Corps. You have to take a placement test to see what you need to do to take your GED, and I took that, and then they were like, well, you don't have to take any classes. You just was on a waiting list. 3 months later, I took the GED, and the test came back. I didn't know how to read the results, and the lady was like, "Damn, this is a high score. You passed." And I was out of school.
Okay,
so I went from being in the 10th grade to 3 months later just being out of school.
Graduated. Because I was going to say, you would be. This is really interesting to me, because, like, first of all, you'd be one of the last people I'd think didn't complete school, but that makes a little more sense. But also, this is interesting to me because I see you, and oftentimes I think as comics we judge each other, or not judge, but like get to know each other.
See what we see
through our stage
through
personas.
Our bits,
so it's like so it's very interesting to me that you feel, at least at the time, or even still, that you have trouble relating to people. Because I see you on stage, I'm like, that's an extremely relatable comic.
Dude,
you know that
you learn how to fake it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Right.
And you have stage fright.
Right, I have horrible stage fright,
and I don't see that.
Yeah, you just learn how to fake it.
You learn how to. I remember. So I know we're gonna get into it, but my son's autistic, and when I was telling you when I took him to get diagnosed, it was a whole checklist of things, and they asked, does he do this or does he not do this? And I remember just going down the list, and I'm like, wow, I do that.
Yeah.
I do that. But he's just way more turned up.
I love elevators. I fucking love elevators.
I remember my mom telling me, she was like, you used to line your cars up, all your toys. I got pictures of all my toys like in perfect rows and shit like that. Which I know part of that's a guy thing, but when you see it on the checklist of autism, you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, so it was that. And then I remember even like making myself learn how to look people in the eye. Now, some of that is just shyness. I'm not saying that I'm fucking, super autistic or whatever.
I have trouble with that too.
Yeah, but I had to train myself to do it. And then to the fact that where I would do it, but then I'd be really in somebody's shit, so you got to learn how to look away. So, so many things. And then the whole, like, growing up without dad and shit like that. I mean, my dad was around, but he slowly, kind of what's happening with me and my kids, just got pushed out of the picture. So taught myself how to fight, how to cut my hair, how to everything. You just teach us. So it was that the learning curve was you teaching yourself how to 11 years old, man. From then on, I didn't. First time I jerked off.
My dad taught me how to beat.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask Jimmy, is that your understanding of a father's job?
Actually, my uncle taught me.
On Christmas Eve, 1997.
Everybody's asleep now.
I remember the first time
Want to learn what sticky pee is?
the first time I jerked off, that next day, I probably jerked off like 5 times.
Oh, my
Because I
God.
was like, is this real? Like, is this a power that I have now?
Was it just pee?
No. I was not. A lot of friends have told me they jerked off before they could come. I never did that. I jerked off. I didn't jerk off. The first time I jerked off, I came like gallons. Like
Jesus.
it was crazy. And like, because I think I'd probably been able to come for a
was,
long time and
audible.
not done it.
You can almost hear it.
It was like I had to, like, I just hid my sheets, like, because
Fuck
I didn't
yeah.
want my mom to see.
Yeah, mine wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Mine was like just the sticky. Like you ever break open like an aloe vera plant? Just that. it was like that.
You came just a skin soothing lotion.
Yeah, just a very.
Just like John's elbows were ashy. And fucking rubs it on it.
All right, I guess God gives us. I'm like a duck, oiling myself. No, I
peed.
Really?
Yeah, it was just piss.
Yeah, that's not normal, Jimmy. You just pissed. You didn't jack off. You just pissed with a boner, dude.
It was in the morning. My dick was hard, and then like it felt good when it was
nuts.
over.
It was pretty crazy.
I came pee. No, you didn't, dude. You peed. All right, so
My
you.
brother was gay. He came shit.
It's intermission time.
Hey guys, it's Brendan. Sorry to interrupt. I just have to tell you, if you like the show, we do a bonus episode every week, plus tons of other content. Go to patreon.com/shitbrainshow. All right, back to the action.
We're happy to have you with us tonight and hope you'll come back often.
So you're kind of like, the eye contact thing is weird because, like, I think it's weird. That's a good thing to know to teach my daughter because it's like I had that too, and I think nobody ever teaches you that.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks to say like, because as a kid you're like, I don't want to look at like that's scary, like
the thing I learned too was just being small and like the schools that I went to, like I used to always get bullied and fucked with, and you kind of have to at least like get a little bit of like steel to you, like because motherfuckers can smell that shit on you.
right.
So when you
Gotta get
constantly got your head down and you constantly just talking to people like this,
Right.
like you're just asking to get your ass beat.
Right.
So I had to learn how to at least, hey, what's up?
Well, you
Right.
didn't. What I
Hi,
did.
how are you?
Yep. I went like what you said, but I have like they'll think I'll come shoot everything up.
I was too timid, man. That shit we were talking about a while ago, we were at Twist, and I used to always have this saying, but like, niggas, bees, and dogs can smell fear. And if you like put that shit out there, like you will get pounced on.
Yep.
yeah.
Like, and I grew up in that. That's one of the reasons I don't like dogs, because most of the people who either own dogs have like Rottweilers or Pits or whatever the fuck, and then it was like mad like stray dogs, so you was constantly running from just dogs that was trying to fuck you up. So it was like I got that, and then just people other like. I grew up on Cedar, so it was like north. It was like Huff. We used to get into it with them, and then south it was like Buckeye. We used to get into it with them. So if you walk too far in one direction, then a group of motherfuckers come at you. Oh, here they come. So
Right.
you were just. And again, I didn't even realize this until I left and moved away. And you was like, oh, it's not normal to fear for your life on a daily basis.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's not a normal thing.
It was interesting because I feel like growing up in Cleveland Heights is the right mix of like it wasn't scary like that.
Yeah.
But still like you had to fight sometimes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I wouldn't want to grow up in one of those like pussy schools where you could just be a total pussy. Like you know what I mean? Like
you
it was
ain't at Solon.
it was tough enough that like I
Kissing
had to
each other
like
on the
learn
lips.
to learn to fight and learn to
Yeah.
like stick up for myself, but not what you're describing, which is a scary way to live for a kid. You
Yeah,
know, like
it was
that's
pretty horrible.
It's not good. It's funny you said that about dogs because like I've been trying to teach my wife like that. She is afraid of dogs, and I'm like, they know that, and
Yeah.
like, and I was telling her, I was like, dogs don't mess with me because even though I know I'm wrong, I have the irrational belief in my head that I can beat any dog in the world in a fight. Like I truly believe that, and it's definitely
so
wrong.
not true.
But I literally believe if a fucking Rottweiler or a pit comes at me, I will grab it by its neck and fucking choke it out. And like it's wrong, they'll probably kill me, but I believe that, and they leave me alone because they're like,
this is pissing off all the cops that like cop dogs out there. They're just like.
Well, I think those dogs get at people because people are afraid. They turn where they expose their neck. It's like if you kick one of those motherfuckers in the face right away, they'll probably get madder. But in my mind, I'm like, that's just
the body cam footage of Brendan getting eaten to death by a German Shepherd.
I worked on a fucking. I used to work for this sports YouTube channel, and we did a thing where John Bones Jones from the UFC,
my guy,
was at. He went to a police academy and put on one of those full body suits, and the dogs came at him. Those dogs don't fuck around, man. It's like it's crazy when you're like, it's like okay, I understand why you would have like. Drug sniffing dogs. I understand why you'd have bomb sniffing dogs. Why do you have murdering dogs?
Just dogs are going.
What are these here for?
I'm not gonna go down the road, but that's one. I get why people like dogs. They're social animals, but
white women fuck dogs.
Oh God, man! Like white people's obsession with dogs. Like I think what helped white people colonize the world was guns, dogs, and alcohol. Seriously, dude. That I have a theory. I know you've seen that book, that Guns, Germs, and Steel. Yeah. No, it's dogs, alcohol, and guns. The guns definitely that definitely helped. And then coming from an area where like the water was so whatever that you constantly had to put alcohol in all the water, so people were just drunk all the time. Yeah, and then these fucking wolves with Stockholm syndrome that was like, if you give me food, I will do anything you want me to do. I'll rip a baby out of a fucking womb. Like, yeah. I was also bitten as a child, listeners. I know everybody's like, this fucking asshole.
I don't care. I like dogs, but I have a big problem with what's happened to dogs in like the last 15 years where it's become like, bring your dog into any store. And it's like, your dog doesn't want to go into the store. Your dog doesn't want to go into the coffee shop.
They do that at the restaurant I work at.
Yeah,
the bar.
The bars. It's like your dog does not want to sit under your fucking stool at the bar for 2 hours. It's a dog. Leave it at home. It's fine.
Let it be an animal.
Yeah. So that
let it go piss off your neighbor all night while you're gone.
Yeah. So you were growing up, you were starting to feel, did you feel like out of place because of this stuff?
Yeah. Like, yeah, they're like, man, okay, so this is probably everybody feels this. You know, everybody has that angst and that feeling weird, but you just throw all that shit in there, and it adds more. But anxiety and all that. Me and a good friend of mine, we just started talking about that because he told me he had anxiety, which I was surprised because this is one of my like harder friends. Like when we would like hang out, like to this day, he's always strapped, and like if we get into a fight, like that's like help me, like that.
He's like, yeah, man, my brain starts yelling at me now.
You ever had them movies in your head that won't shut the fuck up?
Just keeps on screaming and like your heart rate goes up and your Apple Watch yells at you.
Oh man. But yeah, so the anxiety and all that, it felt different and weird, but when you're also too when you're growing up and then dealing with the puberty shit, your dick getting hard and all this, some of it is just like it's just me growing and learning, which I'm sure a lot of it was. But like I said, fast forward to the autism diagnosis, and then the way I relate with other people, and then people that I perceive to not have been maybe as smart as me, but they were just able to complete tasks. Like they're homeowners now, and they have like good jobs, and they do all this stuff. But like I don't want to be like that, but not the smartest people. I mean, we know people who can go to college and who can do that, but just as human beings, you're like, this is the dumbest motherfucker I've ever met.
Well,
and I know so many people like that, and I can complete a task and I can like problem solve, but sitting down and just doing shit was never my I don't know.
Well, that's what's interesting about like success. I don't think, unless you're talking about like someone who innovates, like an innovator, but like just kind of your base level, like owning a home, like working, getting along, like I don't think it's that highly correlated to intelligence. You know what I mean? Like
I've come to find that it's more really being, and not to shit on people, but it's more just being able to follow rules and regiment.
Yeah, because like I said, in the mental hospital,
we're just doing our job.
They gave me like every test, and for whatever reason, they just test you on everything. And that was the first time in my life I ever took an IQ test, and I scored really high, But I was like, I'm broken in the mental hospital. Like, what is this a fucking measurement of? You know what I mean? Like, how smart could I be if I, it's
look at Smarty Pants in the straitjacket.
Yeah. It's like, what are we measuring here? Who fucking cares? Like, what does this do for me? Like, are you going to pay me? It's just weird. I don't think necessarily, I think you just, being smart, I think sometimes makes you think too much, overanalyze.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I've seen stuff like that. That's why smarter people tend to be depressed, because you're just more aware of your surroundings and of life and of just inevitability and shit that's gonna go on. But I don't like using the word smart though too, because like it's very subjective.
Well,
very subjective. You could know how to do a certain thing. I mean, look at Kanye West. I'm a genius. You know what I mean?
I got Kanye black-pilled over pandemic, by the way. Shout out Kanye. I understand him now.
How?
I get him, dude. He makes sense to me.
I mean, okay, so here's the thing. I love him. He makes sense to me too in certain ways. But, oh my god.
Oh yeah, dude.
But it's like Elon Musk too. Like people are smart in certain ways, but that doesn't translate to other parts of life. And even like that bit that Bill Burr had about Steve Jobs, it's like a lot of these people are just good at delegating and getting other people to do shit.
Right.
It's very like Nikolai Tesla did everything, but Einstein was smart enough to put people in a room and put his name on every goddamn thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting. Like, I was trying to do a bit about this because I was thinking about IQ and how worthless it is. Because like, what is genius? What is smart? It's exactly what you're saying. Like, I can't really do much. You know what I mean? Like, they told me I was very smart off this one test. And like, I could solve problems. I could do, but like, and I'm good at comedy, like that, which is, I think, maybe related. I don't know. But it's like, you could have a guy, like, I know friends, right, who I guess on paper, not as smart as me, right? By that measure.
Yeah.
That fucking can take a car apart and put it back together. And to me, that's a genius. Like that, like there's so many different kinds of intelligence that to even like call someone like, well, here's the test, you're smart. It's like, it's stupid because
and a lot
of
it is what you can be disciplined on and what you can stick to and see your way through. And,
right.
And I guess we can see our way through to like jokes and observational type shit.
Right.
But other shit, I can't sit my way through academic type things and books and
dude.
That
shit sucks.
And we gotta learn.
IQ intellectual queer.
You know what? Even the IQ test when that was made, I was reading up about that. It wasn't meant to be what we make it out to be now. They made it as a way to measure kids' intelligence and who had deficits, because in their mind that it was you could change it. Like, okay, if this person is low on this test, now let's do certain things and then we can push them higher. And then they've also found out that if you're stressed out or if you have hunger issues or things like that affects IQ. That's why It depends on what time of day that you take the test, and yeah, it's that in itself. It's a lot of shit around that.
It's also, unfortunately, like pretty much everything I was reading, it's also horrifically biased towards white people. Our form of our traditional like Western forms of learning do way better, and it's like, well, yeah, do a different test, like what? But
that's like what we were talking about earlier. But I never subscribed too far into that because I still don't feel like. I think anybody can do anything. I think some people on my side, like, and not just black people, but like, white people who want to be like, friends to black people or whatever the fuck, like they're not stupid. They just, this is a culturally biased test. I don't even think it's necessarily that, man.
Yeah.
I think once again, just like the Yankees, you can't see past the stripes. Some people get into an intellectual setting and then automatically kind of count themselves out, even if it's on a subconscious level. Right. The same as when people get on a fucking athletic field or whatever. Because I remember playing basketball against people, and I was always bad against people I grew up with. But once I like got into suburban environments and shit, like I was actually decent, and it was just because people didn't play me hard or when I would charge to the hole and shit, you wouldn't get that defense. It'd be like, oh, here he go. He's dribbling and he's black and he's running towards me. I'm just going to get out the way. Yeah. Like, people psych themselves out of shit.
71st free throw attempt, John Armstrong.
So you kind of had these feelings growing up, and then how old was your son? Because I'm real curious about this because, like, I think my parents, and I mean, I'm not autistic, but I think my parents like didn't know how to handle really. And my mom's a nurse, and she did okay. But like when I was really going through like heavy shit and being put in psych wards, I think that was like they just didn't know what to do. It's not something that's normal, Like so. How old was your son when he was diagnosed with autism?
It was around this time. It was his birthday is in August, and he got diagnosed around July. It was right before he was 3.
On his birthday. So.
Happy birthday, son.
This will not turn into a shit on my son podcast.
No, we won't do that.
No, it was right before his 3rd birthday, so he was 2. But okay, so it was a thing to where when he was born, and I know this is anecdotal, and a lot of parents say this, but he was quote normal. Everything was all right. It wasn't. He did the eye contact thing. Yeah. He did all the shit, But at a certain point, when he was 2, he kind of plateaued and he just started going backwards. I remember specifically when he stopped like giving us eye contact, and then at school they thought he was deaf because he kept having all these ear infections. It was like maybe he doesn't hear us calling his name anymore because he used to respond, but then he stopped. And it was a nightmare, dude.
And what was
it was a nightmare.
What I'm curious is like, as a father, what did you do? Did you like try and learn everything? Yeah, did you try and learn about it?
Oh my God!
You punch holes in the wall.
I was immersed in that shit. This was before like YouTube, so this was like but still, internet. So you're doing all these web searches, and I had so many books I would read up on it. And I was even like down the anti-vaccine road, everything, dude, like everything, different diets. Like I was immersed in it because his mom was still together. We didn't live together, but I had my own place and she was still living at home. And I'm trying to be serious, Jimmy.
Jimmy laughs. Jimmy.
All right, so this is some of the most pain John has ever felt.
Yeah,
his first son, he grew up without his dad, and he said, finally, I have this lump of clay that I can mold and I can make into something. And then God said, well, what if he didn't look at you or talk or have the ability to have social skills?
And then Jimmy laughs. So, I mean, how did you kind of like come to terms with like?
It took time, man.
Yeah.
It just took time. It was devastating. It was like for real, like I was still probably 25-30% believed in God at that point, and then as soon as that happened, it was done.
Really?
I was like,
wow.
No shit.
Dude, I was on some Lieutenant Dan. I wanted to fight God type shit for
Swim
real,
into
dude.
the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, just because like when he was born, his mom, like, he was a big baby, and his mom was tiny, you know. She I want to have him natural. Then he started ripping her pussy and asshole up, and she was like, "Give me drugs," and it was like, "We can't do that." So by the time he got out, she was exhausted. They were like, "You want to hold him?" She was like, "I can't." So they put him in the thing, and I go over to check him out, and he was like, just like looking at me, and we're like checking each other out, and I had never had this experience, and you know, like being a father now, like. As a man, you don't know how you're going to react. Like, when does the love go kick in? Because I would see when people would kiss their kids, and I'm like, I don't see myself doing that because it's just weird. You know, I didn't have that type of affection with my mom. So, but soon as I saw him, we're both like, I had never had that interaction with a human. So, I know all autistic people are different, but he just didn't have any of that shit at first. You know what I mean? So to go through like that connection and then be so connected and then to kind of feel him like slipping away, it was like, it was fucked, man. Like it.
But do you think maybe it could have been like an autistic connection? It could have been like you two noticing each other.
No, because
I'm so Attack on Titan.
No.
You guys were like two titans who recognize each other.
Two nerds looking across the
anime
fucking
nerds across the convention,
like,
looking across
the
Christie's
convention center.
Just two good dudes not knowing how to get a lap dance. Like you two.
Hannibal Buress has a bit. I don't know if he still does. I don't know if he ever did this on like I just saw him in a bar doing it. I don't know if he did it on an album or anything, but it's about how he saw two Hasidic guys walk past each other and not say hello, and he was like, "How the fuck are you not going to say hello to each other?"
Those fucking hats.
Yeah. Don't act like you don't know each other.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, they talk.
Maybe that's what that was.
They talk. They just
Maybe that was you
but,
guys speaking autistically,
So
telepathically.
Like, where did you and your son's relationship go? Like, did it?
Oh, we were still. That's my dude. We were still tight.
Yeah.
We were still like we were still really close. And I mean, I don't really see them now, but like up until the problems I've had in the past couple years, like it's just your firstborn. You just have a connection. You know what I mean? And like, and he doesn't really talk. He's not really that verbal. But the handful of words he would say, like, you know, "Daddy this" or "Daddy that."
So
like,
he maintained that connection. With
oh
you.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
It was yeah.
I'm really. I think I'm just curious, like just really interested in this because like I have a death. I really am afraid that like there's a lot of I believe there's a lot of different theories about whatever, but like there's a lot of people that have depression, anxiety, bipolar, like in my family tree. You know?
And the passing of it.
Yeah, and so I believe there is a hereditary portion of it. I think it's part genetic, part nurture. Like I think it comes together. So I have a real fear that I'm gonna pass some of these things about myself that have like kind of crippled parts of my life, and like now I'm doing all right, but like I'm so afraid that like I watch my dog, and she's 5 months, and she's not gonna hang herself, you know what I mean? Like, but like I watch
smashing Lego blocks into each other.
She kicks a lot, like she's like crazy with kicking her legs, and like my wife is so like, oh, like she wants to start moving, and I don't even tell my wife this, but I'm like, fuck, is she like does she have bad anxiety like me? Like, is that a
that
sign?
freaking her out?
Yeah, like, is that a sign of like, is she gonna be like me?
I did that with my daughters. I have 2 daughters, and like once they came around, I analyzed everything, and like my son was easy. Like he slept, he like, you know what I mean? How some kids just keep waking up and shit.
Love the rules. Bounce on the balls of his feet.
No, Jimmy, he was still a kid, but a lot of the shit that I was afraid of, it wasn't as hard. But then my daughters were like colicky and fucking crying, and so I'm like, damn, they really got autism.
And I'm super autism.
I'm like, damn, fucking. But as they got older, they were just normal. So yeah, some of the stuff you're just looking into, and you can't know.
Hey, did you ever find? Because I have a friend who has dealt with this with his brother. Did you ever find people making the assumption that your son was? You know, I think a lot of people base this on like Rain Man. Did you have people assuming your son was like a savant?
Oh, no. I mean, well, that's the beauty of racism.
He didn't have to deal with that.
He's retarded and dumb. God damn it. Now he can't even bounce about.
Tardism.
How many insults can we throw into one word?
Yeah.
No.
What part of Tardfrica is he from?
Genetically West. Jimmy. No, but I would get that from people on the outside looking in because people want to mean well. I've noticed like telling people you have a son with autism, maybe the same as when you tell people you have mental illness. It's like when people hear somebody has cancer, they immediately, well, is it just stage 1? People always want it to be better just so they won't be uncomfortable. I'm like, no, it sucks. He can't really talk that well. He has seizures. It's not the fun, let's go to Las Vegas and fucking buy a house autism. It's not that kind of autism. It's fucking him looking out the window at other kids playing, wanting to go outside and play.
It's not I could tell you what day it was in December 22nd, 1971.
Now, some things, like, maybe, but not savant-like, but, like, I remember playing, like, we were playing Nintendo Wii, and, like, the only thing my dumb ass know how to play is fucking Mario. So we were playing Mario, and it's, you know, both of the characters can be on the screen, and he's just leaving me, and he has to keep coming back to get me. So I'm like, oh, at least he's
smoking you at Mario.
Oh yeah, I'm like, at least he learned how to play video games. I was never good at that. Right. Like, so in some respects, like, and then he would play the drums and a lot of right brain shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So golf. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
It's interesting because like I always like, you know, just being locked up in psych wards and being in mental hospitals. Like, I always felt a little bit lucky in a way, as miserable as I was, as like suicidal as I was. I still had the awareness of knowing like I was lucky in that I could hide my you know what I mean? I can function in society, whereas your son, like, you know, he'll be able to function at some point, but he won't be able to hide that. You know,
it's like a fat person versus a cokehead. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can hide like an addiction, but if you have a food addiction, you can't hide that.
Right?
Everyone knows.
It was like, you know, and there weren't autistic people in the treatment facilities I were, but there were oftentimes schizophrenic people, and and they can't, you know, I mean, the best you can do is like really sedate them, you know, like, but it's not, it's like, it's a whole different, like having a mood disorder like me, that's totally different. It's like a lot of people don't even know. They mostly only know because I'm a comedian, so I'm able to be open about it. Like if I worked in a bank or some shit, I would never talk about it because
you'd have a corner office, buddy. Like that psychotic motherfucker.
He'll get you the lowest interest rate, but he's fucking pissed all the time.
You're going straight to the top of this company.
But I mean that is why I talk about it, because I'm like, I'm lucky enough to have a job where I can talk about it and not get like I think it's illegal to fire someone, but you'll get fucking passed over for a promotion or they'll find a reason, you know, like so. What and I know things have changed a little bit in recent years, but like, what do you think? And dude, you've been so open, so don't
give it up.
Don't feel like you got to answer anything. What do you think?
What's your social security number?
yeah. What is your PIN code? What do you think?
You really want this? I would give it up just for people to share my 585 credit score. Yeah. Let's all get in on this bullshit.
That's like, man, I remember there was a time period when like 20 fucking comics I knew were doing some version of the joke, like steal my identity. I don't give
I make no money.
Yeah.
Also, I make no money. Please still give me money.
What do you think your son's, as he becomes an adult, what will his life look like? Like what level of care? What will he be capable of? Do you know that? Do you? Like,
I can't say because honestly, I haven't seen him since before quarantine.
Yeah,
that was the last thing that his mom was like the excuse why I couldn't come by.
Yeah,
but like, honestly, he probably is going to need someone with him. Right. But he has surprised people too because I remember when he was younger in school, he started getting sensitive to sounds, and then they were like, well, we'll give him some headphones or something for the lunchroom. I'm like, no, we're already going through all this shit.
Yeah.
We're not going to. So, I'm like, I didn't want him to be tortured, but I slowly desensitized him to certain sounds and things like that. Cause I'm like, we can't like, part of it was ego too. I'm like, dude, he's got it hard enough. I don't want the helmet kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but he wasn't really banging his head. It was more so just sounds. So I've come to realize he does have a capability to do things if you have the willingness and the patience to, like, he's in there. You know what I mean? So to your question, probably will always need some type of assistance, but I think that he can live a somewhat normal life. I have like kind of a Vegas dream to like take him out, like, and like, you know, let's get out. If I can get him a hooker, like,
go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Well, maybe not Vegas specifically, but like somewhere where basically prostitution is legal. I want to get them laid.
Yeah,
and
South
then
America.
We ain't going that far, dude. we go to Warren and go to the fucking rub and tug auto mile and get one of them bitches
and just tell them it's South America.
Here's the thing. We needed Jimmy on this podcast because I wanted a serious conversation and John was giving me a serious conversation, but this was supposed to be a comedy podcast.
I'm sorry.
So, no, we needed you here.
Okay.
We needed you throwing those ones in.
Oh, God.
If you want to subscribe to the Patreon, that'll help us get John's kid to Vegas, and we can get him a hooker for $5.
Don't make money off me, you fucking motherfucker. You.
Jesus Christ! Again, another Jeremy fucking tag.
Oh my God, that's clearly not the Native American side. That's that Middle Eastern bartering thing going on.
I win twice. We were going to go to my family's casino.
Oh God.
Nobody knows that you're Native American.
So for those of you, so that I can decode producer Jeremy's joke, he is part Native American. That's why he's making the jest that his family has a casino, or maybe they do. I don't give a fuck one way or the other. John, man,
you're awesome, buddy.
Yeah,
one of my fucking favorite comics. In town.
Thank you.
Same
in general, you're a good dude.
It also, dude, it really. It's important. I thank you for being open about that kind of stuff. You know, I think like my hope with this podcast is like, yeah, it's funny, we're fucking around, but also like I do want people to be able to relate, and I think there's so many people in that situation or have dealt with that.
The stigma is coming down more, but it does have to come down more, and not like to like beat the racial drum. But with black people, it has to too. Because for years, I didn't tell people my son was autistic. Because for years, like. When he was like super young, he's just this cute kid, and he just, as long as he wasn't talking, like you're just like, look at that handsome boy, you know what I mean? Right. So I just kept it to myself because I didn't feel like doing backstory and shit like that. And I I wouldn't admit it, but I wouldn't. It wasn't the word shame or embarrassment, but there was a part of like kind of like othered and kind of not less than. I don't know what the word is, but it was a kind of a like you're not sitting at the cool kids table.
Yeah,
like,
you're
what I mean?
you're a bitch.
You're like an other, and then I was just very. It's your kid, so you're just very hyper, like sensitive to shit. So you already got that, somebody do something to my kid, I'm gonna fuck him up. Right. I remember one time being at Edgewater, and he was just playing around, and I still would try to keep him close to me, but him being a kid, he wants to go play with other kids, but I'm always nervous of how, because I know how we treated kids like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
God, your kid comes up to me at Edgewater.
Okay. So some dude picked him up, dunked him in the water,
100%.
And I'm just like, I'm ready to get in his shit. But then he gets up, he's laughing, all the other kids are laughing. I remember we used to do that at each other too. And even if there was a little bit of element of bullying in that, I can't protect him from everything.
Right.
And he does need to
Nor
feel
should you.
Right. And he does need to feel some of that. So it was kind of weird with like how much do you want to let him hit his knee and then be able to come back versus just trying to be overprotective.
Helicopter parent.
Yeah, and now he's 19 and I'm like not there. And his mom, he's got his mom. His mom's a good person, and she's got I think she's married again at this point. So, or married. We didn't get married, but she's married at this point. So
what a slut.
No, she's a
kidding. She's great.
She's a really
she's great. She's
good
great.
person. She's great.
Jimmy
Unless she's dealing with me, then she's
but you know what?
me.
I'm too big Bubba's in.
The thing is, you love your son. Like you're gonna. I believe like you will be in his life.
Oh
like,
yeah. Well, you know what, man? I always wanted to do this comedy shit, but like in the back of my mind, I was like, this is the only one of the few things where I want to just be able to like. I have to get to the point to where I am undeniable and I can just be around him, and I just didn't want to get shut out. You know what I mean? I didn't start comedy because I wanted to fucking I want to see my autistic son. But
not many people do.
I'm on TV, bitch. You can't run from me. It wasn't so much that, but I did. You just want to get to a. Cause you get, man, that's a whole nother podcast, but as a man, you get so pushed to the side in the system, like, and it's so easy for people to write this narrative that, like, you ain't shit and this is that and blah, blah, blah. Like, so I just wanted to get to the point to where it was just even, like, they would always be able to just know me. I'm there. And yeah.
Well, it was interesting because, like, I even experienced, and we had great care when we had our daughter. We were at UH, it was good. Like, but I even realized, like I would have questions, like, because I'm around during the day. I'm a comic, if I wasn't on the road. So I was lucky. I could go to the appointments with my lady, and like, they would kind of ignore me as the dad, like they would just like, I would have questions. They'd look at me funny. Like, why are you fucking talking? Like,
all
and
the
it was
time.
Like, yeah, cause it's my kid too, And
like, and they treat you like you stupid and you just there. And like I said, we was already young parents and we already look young. So we look like these like teenage moms who are like, get out of here and just, go.
John, or you were fucking 41 years old. And they're like, this teenager over here.
Go trade in your food stamps for a $10 bag of weed. We know that's what you want to do.
In hindsight, part of the reason they might have ignored me was because I did ask, how come horses can walk right when they're born? And then, the lady just looked at me and I was
got
like,
you a chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to shut the fuck up.
It was I was like, that's a legitimate question. You say humans are smart, so why can a horse walk already?
My best friend he had a kid 2 weeks ago, and I was like, they give her an extra stitch, and he said I asked for it and winked at the nurse, and she walked out of the room.
Yeah, it's not the way you do that. You do it yourself. That's the way you do it. No.
Well, I can tell you,
home medicine.
It don't. They stitched her, and it don't matter. Once that baby comes out,
It's ruined.
It's not the same.
It's ruined. It's ruined. You're gross once it happens.
Not the same.
Unless you're a wife of or a girlfriend of any of my friends.
Well,
give it up.
My baby came out C-section.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Fuck you, man.
I didn't know this was a thing. All right, that's been Shit Brains. John, where can people follow you? Where can they find you, man?
John Armstrong Comedy Instagram, John Armstrong Facebook. I'm too scared to join Twitter.
It sucks. Don't
Such a
join it.
fucking funny comic, by the way. This dude rules.
Really great. Check him out.
Trying to get out there.
Yeah, check him out. Book him on your shows. Bring him on the road, man. He's really funny. He'll do a good job.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me, man. This is fun, man. This is fun. Like,
did you have fun?
Yeah, honestly, like this is something that people, like I said, need to talk about because it gets kind of corny and redundant, like mental health and blah blah blah. But as you get older, you start. Health is wealth, man. I just had a friend of mine pass of cancer, and people I know who just go through shit. You'd be surprised. Well, you guys wouldn't be. You'd be surprised what it means to actually have all your marbles, because life is stressful, man, and certain things, like we were saying with anxiety, that you think are normal, and it's like, nah, man, you gotta talk that shit out. I'm like, oh, I can't keep pushing this down and pouring gallons of Jameson on it. So yeah, this is awesome what y'all doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming,
John,
man.
You're fucking awesome.
John Armstrong, check him out. You shit brains.
You little shitters.
Hey guys, it's Brendan. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Shit Brains. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit that subscribe button, you review it, you rate it, all of that stuff really helps the algorithm. Throw us a follow at Shit Brains Show on Instagram and Twitter, Shit Brains Show on YouTube. You can email us your questions at shitbrainshow@gmail.com. We even have, for you hardcore fans, a Facebook group where you can go and you can chat and meet up with other fans. That's Shit Brains Show on Facebook. So, and then of course, if you really like it and you want some bonus content, we're coming out with a bonus episode every single week, plus a lot of other bonus content. You're going to want to get on there and check it out. Go to patreon.com/shitbrainshow. Later, Shit Brains.